We are finally here. Welcome to the holiday season, Christmas time, the most wonderful time of the year. And with it, today I want to give you guys 10 Christmas horror films you need to watch.
She stopped at a light and saw him walking in that field behind the Lost River diving. Julie said he was so creepy.
Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to give you guys 10 Christmas horror films that I feel like you have to watch in the month of December. Now some of you guys might be going, oh, it's not December yet. Okay, listen, Thanksgiving is over. It is officially Christmas season. If you are refusing to put up your tree and your decorations, you are just cheating yourself the opportunity to have that to look at for a few extra days. My tree's up, my decorations are up, and I am ready to go. Now, if you're not new to my channel, you've seen me do videos like this over the years, so some of these movies you're going to recognize that I've already talked about before. But as a lot of you know, the channel's grown a lot over the last year, so there's a lot of people that have probably never seen me do one of these videos. Now, there's no specific ranking here aside from my number one, which is my all-time favorite Christmas horror film. Everything else, they're just where they are. And starting this list off is It's a Wonderful Knife. Now, I know a lot of people didn't really go check this one out. It got a limited release. It didn't really make any waves, but I really dug this movie, and I didn't expect to, because I felt like it was going to be this teeny boppy slasher film, and in some ways it is, but I think it's actually really clever. I think it's got really good performances, and there's actually a lot of heart there. Also, Justin Long with those fake teeth, there's just something about that I really dig. I don't know, it's funny to see him in this role, the way he looks and the way he chooses scenery. I like him a lot. There are immaculate Christmas vibes throughout this movie. There's actually some pretty cool kills, and I just think it's a really fun time. If you like movies like Happy Death Day or Freaky, I think you'll really dig It's a Wonderful Knife. This is one I'm happy to add into my yearly rotation now, and I think you should too. The ninth movie on this list is called Better Watch Out, and I've talked about this one over the years because this one actually caught me by surprise. I remember seeing this thing, I think on Netflix, and I was looking for something to watch around Christmas time one year, and I was like, whatever, I'll give it a whirl. And in the first 15-20 minutes, I was like, oh my god, this is kind of like rote and boring. And then everything gets switched up, and the rug gets pulled out from underneath you. And I really dug what they did with this movie. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's groundbreaking and it's a fantastic film. However, I think this is a movie that has some really interesting ideas, some great kills, and a decent twist. If you watch this trailer, you're not going to truly know what you're in for. And I think that makes this experience all the better. If it's been spoiled to you and you haven't seen it yet, I am really sorry because I didn't know anything about it going into it, and I had a good time. And this is one that I continue to watch yearly. The next movie on this list is one that some of you guys might not have known is a Christmas movie, but it technically is, and that's Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Now, we do know that this movie takes place around the Christmas holidays, and it's pretty obvious because they get snowed in heavily in this film. But actually, technically, in 1980, Christmas fell on a Thursday. And in this movie, we see title cards that say the day. So therefore, technically, a good portion of this movie takes place on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But even if you didn't know that, you didn't go into the weeds and go, well, is this actually taking place at Christmas? It just looks and feels like that time of year. Now sure, there's absolutely nothing about this film that screams deck the halls with boughs of holly, but there's a lot of snow, it's very isolated, it's very cold, and it technically takes place around the holidays. So if you don't already add this into your yearly watch around Christmas time, you probably should, because it's technically a Christmas horror film. The next movie on this list is one that's about to get a modern remake, and I am so friggin' excited for it. But that is Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now, you're not going to hear me talk about like all of these movies, because I don't think it's a hot take to say that this franchise is largely lackluster. Okay, I know a lot of people have love for the second movie because of Garbage Day, but it's really not that good. Not a fan of 3. 4 has its defenders, but I don't see it yet. Maybe I will. But 5 I do really dig. So if you're going to watch a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie, it needs to be 1 or 5 in my opinion. Now, the first one is a cult Christmas classic. It is. It's over the top, it's kind of corny, but it's got some really memorable kills. Billy is awesome. Every time he's on screen, he just chews up the scenery, and I love that about this movie. That's really what brings me back to this movie year after year. Now, it doesn't hurt that it nails the atmosphere and the aesthetic, and I look for that in movies like this, but I don't know. It's just a really fun time, and I feel like if you haven't seen it, you are doing yourself a disservice as a horror fan. However, the 2011 reboot, garbage. Don't mistake it for this one. The next movie on this list is going to be Michael Dougherty's Krampus. Now, this was one that I really had my eye on because you guys probably know I love Trick or Treat. I love Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's my favorite MonsterVerse film. So when Michael Dougherty was doing a Krampus film, I was like, dude, I'm in. A Christmas horror film, Michael Dougherty's directing it, like, let's go. And this movie does not disappoint. This is also a movie that I've actually shown to my son. He's pretty young, but it's actually pretty tame. This is definitely like a horror comedy. It is more fun than it is ever trying to be scary. However, I love this world. I love Toni Collette in this movie. I love Adam Scott. I think the design of Krampus himself is truly grotesque, and Michael Dougherty does monsters incredibly well, so I wasn't surprised. All the little minions are gross too. You got gingerbread men that are like psychotic. Everything about this movie rules. And David Koechner is hilarious in this movie. I love Krampus, okay? If you haven't seen Krampus, you need to watch it. Understand that you're probably not going to crap your pants because you're so scared, but you're going to have a really good time. And also, this thing delivers on feeling and looking like Christmas. Probably better than most movies on this list. All right, so we're halfway through. Hopefully, I've given you guys some recommendations for movies that you haven't seen yet. But if not, we've still got 5 more movies to go. And the next one on this list is going to be the recently released Terrifier 3. Now, I am still somebody that's partial to Terrifier 2. It is my favorite Terrifier film, and I do think it is the best one. However, Terrifier 3 is honestly great too. Both of those movies, even the first movie, I think this is a trilogy largely that I love. Like, I don't really have complaints with it. Terrifier 3, when it is actually going for the Christmas aesthetic and vibe, and specifically the first, I'd say, 2/3 of this movie, it really nails it. There's a killer scene in a bar with Santa that is just absolutely amazing. There's a scene at a mall that literally had my jaw drop in the movie theater. I could not believe I saw that on screen. Loved it, thought it was ballsy, but I couldn't believe it. Terrifier 3 really embracing Christmas was a great idea. Because Terrifier and Terrifier 2 are Halloween films. They look like Halloween films, they take place at Halloween, and they feel like Halloween films. Terrifier 3 definitely gives us Christmas. And I have said many, many times before, I do not think we get enough Christmas horror films. We just don't have enough of them. But Terrifier 3 really does try to give us a modern one that is actually pretty damn great. So if you haven't seen this one yet, please do. The next one on this list is another one that's pretty relatively new, and it snuck up on me, and that is Christmas Bloody Christmas. Now, this is a movie that's not going to be for everybody. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. There's a lot of language in this movie, like to the point where it definitely seems like it's over the top. You might mistake it for a Rob Zombie film. However, I don't find the language usage crass, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not like Ronnie's breakfast scene in Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's more like young people just having a limited vocabulary and going back to their tried and true words that they use. But at the end of the day, this movie, holy crap. If you're looking for a Christmas vibe and aesthetic, it's here. I love the idea on screen realized of blood on snow. There's just something about it that I love. And that happens in this film. A lot. I love the concept of the killer. I actually like the performances. I love how punk rock this movie is. It's just badass. Like, this is a super fun movie. And it's just rock and roll. I don't know. If you're a rock fan, if you're a Christmas horror fan, I don't know how you couldn't like this movie. Like, maybe the language is a little much for you at times, but it's a friggin' blast, and I highly recommend it. All right, so these 3, my last 3 on this list, are easily the greatest horror films for me. And 1 being my favorite, 2 and 3 are interchangeable. But coming in at number 3 is going to be Black Christmas from 1974. I mean, what do you say? Like, what do you say about this movie? It is probably and arguably the greatest Christmas horror film ever made. I actually will say that. If you love John Carpenter's Halloween, it borrowed a lot from this movie. If you love really any late 70s, early 80s slashers, it borrowed a ton from this movie. This movie is legitimately iconic. Great performances, a nice mystery, a lot of tension, it's funny. I don't know how somebody couldn't like Black Christmas. I've heard people say over the years, oh, it's boring, it's slow. It is almost identical to the pace of John Carpenter's Halloween, and I love that film. So I don't know how you couldn't like this, but also like that. Also, it really just nails the vibe. And I've said that a bunch in this video, but some of these movies that we see year after year that get pumped out just really don't. When you set a movie around a holiday, your first priority should be making sure it looks and feels like that holiday. And the fact that this movie came out so long ago, yet it is one of the best at doing that, is impressive. It also has one of the coolest endings ever, where you're left asking a bunch of questions. It doesn't answer everything for you, and I love that. This movie was super ahead of its time, and I genuinely think it's one of the greatest slasher movies ever. So if you haven't seen Black Christmas 1974, genuinely, what the hell are you doing? Alright, so number 2 on this list is fittingly a little movie called P2. I have loved this thing since this came out. I remember watching this thing on HBO like a year after it came out, and I was blown away. Had no idea it was a Christmas movie. This thing rules, okay? Now, I've talked about with my friends on YouTube over the years how the thing about it that really hurt it was that nobody really knew what it was about or knew it was a Christmas horror film. It's a title, P2. Okay, what does that even mean? Where's P1? Look, obviously it takes place in a parking garage. That is why it's called P2. And a lot of the action happens on level P2. Wes Bentley in this movie is fantastic. He is delightfully evil. He brings you in and makes you actually sympathetic to him at times, but at the same time, you're like, nah, dude, you're a psycho. Rachel Nichols gives a phenomenal performance as well. It doesn't hurt that she is insanely nice to look at, but she is a badass. She plays terrified well. She is someone that really does everything she can to fight tooth and nail to survive. And you want to see this woman live. There's just so much about this movie. I don't even really want to get into the details if you guys haven't seen it, but it is supremely suspenseful. It's dripping in Christmas. It's just iconic for me. It's one of my favorite Christmas horror films, Christmas films in general. Like, let's just be honest. I know it has a title that's not going to scream to you, oh, I gotta watch this in December, but I promise you, you do. This movie is fantastic, and we need a friggin' 4K. Scream Factory, someone get on it. I want a 4K with all the special features, commentaries, you name it, someone do it. And then, at number 1, undoubtedly, my favorite Christmas horror film. Has been for years and probably always will be. Black Christmas 2006. Yeah, you can see it, okay? You know the love is there. Look, this movie rules. Absolutely rules. There isn't a Christmas horror film that does the aesthetic and atmosphere of Christmas better than this movie. There isn't one. Find me one. You can't. I'm talking blizzard. Decorations everywhere. Lights everywhere. In every room of this house. Candy cane usage. Icicle usage. Everything about Christmas is on full display in this movie. But it's also a remake. A pseudo-remake of the original film. And it does something entirely different than that film. Whereas the first one was much more of a slow burn, mystery, suspenseful film, this is a straight up schlocky slasher. You're not going to be left asking a bunch of questions. No, they spell out pretty much everything to you. It's in your face. It's very direct. But it is all the more stronger because of that. They lean into what they do well. It's got a fantastic cast, a fantastic setting, fantastic kills. Literally everything about this movie is fantastic. I don't know what else to say. Am I saying that it's super highbrow? No. Is it going to make you ask a bunch of questions? No. Is it going to leave you going, wow, that was a cinematic masterpiece? No. But if you tell me that you watched this movie and you didn't have an insanely fun time and you didn't get in the Christmas spirit because of it and you didn't want to eat Christmas cookies, then you're lying. We can't even talk anymore, okay? This movie rules. It is my favorite Christmas horror film. It is a must-watch every damn year. It is so different from the original that you can love both of them. They exist in their own worlds, and they are both great at what they do. But Black Christmas '06 is untouchable for me. So there it is. There's 10 Christmas horror films that you guys need to watch over the next month. Now, tell me down below, did I mention anything that you haven't seen that now you want to give a chance to? Did I mention anything that you agree with? Or did I mention anything that you vehemently disagree with? Whatever it may be, chime in down below in the comments section. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like on it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.